Students in Mrs. Shields' first grade class at Commodore Sloat Elementary tapped into their scientific superpowers while studying plants and animals. Mrs. Shields sent home soil, wheatgrass seeds, and plastic for each of her students. During this 12-day study, her amazing class learned how scientists make observations, predictions, and draw conclusions by being scientists themselves. Each day, students would record their observations and then upload their work into their Seesaw journal. Once in their digital journal, students could see the progress of their experiment and share and comment on each other's work. First, students soaked wheatgrass seeds in water overnight. As Arjun, Arhan, and Noah show us, home can be turned into a science lab with a few essential tools. These scientists use tools like their science notebook to make observations, draw pictures, and jot details. Why do you think they soaked their seeds before planting them? On the second day, the students planted the seeds in the soil. Scientists draw to record observations and use words to label detail. Here, Samuel and Olivia's science notebooks show us key details that we can learn from. Samuel clearly labeled the materials he used as he planted the seeds into a cup of soil, and Olivia observed that by day 2 of the experiment, the seeds started sprouting. Wheatgrass is green, but Olivia noticed that when a wheatgrass seed starts to sprout, the baby leaves are white. By labeling the drawings in their notebook, Samuel and Olivia share key details to their experiment. What do you notice? Scientists carefully record observations every day. While learning from home, scientists like Suri and Lauren use Seesaw to take pictures of their notebooks and record their observations to share with one another. When a whole class of curious scientists are conducting the same experiment, you begin to notice similarities and differences in observations. Collecting information or data in this way is how scientists discover and learn. Scientist Suri observed that wheatgrass is very tall and the roots of her plant are long in a circle at the bottom. But scientist Lauren noticed that the roots in her wheatgrass plant are thick. Why do you think plants grow differently? Over time, scientists capture more and more data in their science notebooks. Scientist Aiden drew how long his wheatgrass leaves grew and also shows us with his actual plant. He shows us how important it is to draw accurate pictures in our science notebooks. Scientist Isaiah shows us how good scientific observations have specific details to support a conclusion. On day 7, he observed that his wheatgrass plant has white roots and seeds that have not yet bloomed. He also writes that he has 8 pieces of grass. After observing, scientists start asking questions to make predictions for their hypotheses. Scientist Carrie Yee observes that her seeds wilted and begins to wonder why. Scientist Adam observed that plants take time to grow. In his notebook, he jotted, "I can't see roots. My grass is not growing." He asks, "Do you have any tips?" What questions do you have? When making predictions, students like Jackson use details to bring their experiments to life. Jackson's scientific drawings has so many details. Can you tell which one is the real thing? Scientist Henry uses his scientific drawings to bring what he is observing to life on paper. His details and use of color are wonderful. Let's look at some more scientific drawings from Mrs. Shields' first graders. CJ shows us what wheatgrass looked like on day 7, showing the roots growing all the way to the bottom of the cup. And Avery shows us that on day 9 there were roots, grass, and seeds that were still growing. Lucas's observation tells us that by day 7, his wheatgrass grew as tall as his hand. At the end of the experiment, the first graders in Mrs. Shields' class reflected on what they learned. For example, scientist Carissa shared that she learned that the wheatgrass are beautiful. I like science. Scientists Logan and Mira share something they learned. The secret ingredient that helped their wheatgrass grow was kindness. Thank you to all of the first graders and Mrs. Shields who shared their learning and recorded this digital story with us today.